This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, council's set for a major shake-up once all election votes are in. A local food pantry remains a vital service for hundreds of families.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, the man accused of an assassination plot on Donald Trump at his golf course named, and a couple cleared of murdering their housemate, Amber Haig.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. After months of campaigning, the 2024 local government elections are now over, with counting well underway. Many local councils right across the New England Northwest will undergo a major shake-up. Hugh Pearson joins us now. And Hugh, 3 communities will now welcome a new mayor.
Nick, Gwydir, Gunnedah and Moree will all see new leaders, with their former mayors resigning. But there will be some familiar faces returning to councils, set on continuing the job they started. Parts of the region are set to be shaken up after this year's local government election. A new leader will take the helm at the Gwydir Shire Council after former Mayor John Coulton closed his chapter in politics. Returning councillor Tiffany Galvin says she could be the person for the job.
And I've got the whole of the Shire at my best interest to make it a great place to live and a great place for people to come and visit.
Gunnedah's Colleen Fuller garnered 32% of her electorate's votes. A new mayor is also needed, but Ms Fuller says it's not the job for her.
At this stage, no, I believe that I can do a lot more by being a deputy mayor and being in the community with the people.
Group D of the Armidale election received resounding support, with close to 47% of the votes. Former Mayor and returning councillor Sam Copeland is grateful residents have bought into the growth strategy. He says he's ready to continue what he started.
Land on what we're going to do with our water security and then lobby hard with the state government to make sure it can be funded as best it possibly can. And then really the renewable energy zone, that's going to heat up in this region.
Walker's Eric Noakes also received the brunt of support in Walker, walking away with nearly 43% of the votes. He says it's an honour to be chosen to fulfil council's promises.
You know, we've got an SRB to fulfil here and bring home promises we made with that. We've got an aged care facility to integrate into council.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Tamworth could see some younger faces on the new council, with Labor and Greens candidates gaining significant amounts of votes. However, the new council could be without any women as initial counts continue.
After a long election campaign, Tamworth voters took to the polls. A range of issues playing a part in who they vote for, particularly the former council's decision to request a special rate variation.
Just goes to show that if you listen and actually hear what the residents are saying and act on that, it doesn't matter the colour of your core flute.
First preference votes saw the Labor group take home nearly 14%, while the Greens gained 7.7%. But the biggest winner was independent Mark Rodder, receiving 27% of the first preference votes. That sees incumbent Mayor Russell Webb only taking in 6.9%.
At the moment, it looks like I'm in a strong position to be not only the first Greens candidate, but also the youngest candidate ever elected to council.
Among the others leading on the initial count include Brendan North, Jeff Budd, current councillor Mark Sutherland and Matt Sharpham.
I think it was a mixed bag. There was a few things that came through that were going to be pretty obvious, and there's others that I was a bit surprised at. So all good. I'm quite humbled by some of the results for me personally.
The first preference votes for existing councillors Bede Burke and Judy Coates places them at risk of losing their positions. While it remains early days in the count, there may be no women on the new council.
I am, to be quite blunt, I'm quite shattered at the lack of women candidates that look like they're going to be on there.
It's only the first preferences being counted at the moment, so we're fairly comfortable, happy where we are, and we think we may get a second person on as well.
James Carter joins us now in Tamworth. And James, when are we expected to know that all-important final result?
Nick, we won't have an exact picture who will be on council until after preferences are distributed, which will take place once all postal votes are received by the 27th. A large number of pre-poll votes are yet to be counted, which so far have been heavily favouring independent candidates. What we can say is Mark Rodda and Labor's Steve Mears have secured enough first preference votes to return to council, leaving 7 spots up for grabs. The new Tamworth Regional Council will hold its first meeting in October to decide who will take on the role of mayor.
Okay, James, thanks for the update. Cost of living pressures are forcing some residents to rely on a Corindai not-for-profit organisation. The Corindai Community Food Pantry has opened now at a new location to become more accessible for families who are doing it tough.
As soon as doors open at the Corindai Community Food Pantry, it's bustling with local shoppers. The sausages are sizzling, the bargains are everywhere, and the costumes are on.
We're all saying how good we look. We feel quite stupid, I might add, but we made them all happy for the day.
The non-for-profit organisation has reopened after a brief hiatus. They were forced to relocate, with their old building having stairs and proving too difficult for shoppers to get in and out.
Here, it's all flat, plenty of parking, and they can wheel the trolleys out to the car, pack their bags in the car, go home.
The food pantry is vital for the small community as households continue to face mounting pressure due to the cost of living crisis. Across the New England Northwest, 54% of low-income households are going without meals, while 57% are using buy now, pay later mechanisms to pay for essential goods. So here, where a loaf of bread costs 50 cents and a litre of milk is $1.50, it's a major help for Corindai locals.
Bread, milk, the basic essentials. That's all I need.
Because of the price of things are today's, mate, these people help out a lot.
And they've made the decision to keep their doors open for longer. Previously operating twice a week, it's now open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Fridays from 9 to 12.
It's only going sky high, so unfortunately a lot of people can't afford to eat regularly. Very beneficial today, being that we have been packed.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Well, 2 people have died after an SUV veered off a road and into a creek near the New South Wales and Queensland border. Emergency services were called to Carwell Creek Bridge, that's south of Mungandai, just after 1:15 on Sunday morning, where the vehicle crashed down an embankment and landed in the creek, trapping 3 people inside. A 23-year-old woman was airlifted to John Hunter Hospital in a serious but stable condition. Now, at around 12 p.m, the bodies of a man and a woman, both aged in their 20s, were recovered from that car. The pair are yet to be formally identified. Well, the Rural Fire Service is ramping up preparations just weeks out from the start of the bushfire season. They say it'll be a busy few months as they call for more volunteers.
A weekend hard at work. Local rural fire service brigades taking time out of their schedules to train up volunteers just before the start of bushfire season on October 1st.
With the seasons rapidly approaching, we sort of need to brush up on those skills and make sure that we're all over it.
It's full steam ahead for the RFS. They say they're well off with numbers at this stage, but that can quickly change. Tamworth Superintendent Bronwyn Waters is putting the call out to the community to ensure they're properly manned for the upcoming season.
People are getting busier all the time and it's getting harder for people to spare their time.
Volunteer firefighter Alex Sadler-Purkis has been involved with the Rural Fire Service since he was a kid. He's highly recommending people to sign up, particularly in smaller towns that rely on them.
If they can be there and at least put some water on the fire before the main force arrives, then it's massively important.
Due to recent wet weather, the Rural Fire Service is struggling to conduct hazard reduction burns, which is cause for concern just weeks out from bushfire season.
There's a lot of fuel out there, especially with the warmer winter that we had, so there's a lot of grass that has grown, a lot of vegetation that has grown over the last 12, 18 months.
To learn everything you need to know about this upcoming season, you can attend the RFS's Get Ready weekend this Saturday and Sunday, an information event for locals schools and property owners, check your local station to see if they're running a session.
Most people do have an understanding, but this weekend is something that they can refresh themselves on.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Well, meanwhile, firefighters will have better access to conduct hazard reduction burns and fight fires at Hanging Rock, and it's all thanks to improved trails. The state government's invested $1.5 million to upgrade the 3 major fire trails. Now, the former dirt tracks have been camped with compacted gravel, aggregate, and will have turning and passing bays to allow firefighter vehicles better access to manoeuvre and get in and out. Farmer sentiment across New South Wales is bouncing back. That's according to the latest Rabobank Rural Confidence Survey. Farmers are reporting fewer concerns about dry weather and high import costs and soft commodity prices, including those across the New England Northwest region. Those within the agriculture industry are expecting agribusiness to get better in the next year ahead. Well, for a look at today's weather conditions, Kirsty joins us now. And Kirsty, it was a very cold morning this morning, wasn't it?
It was, Nick. Incredibly hard to get out of bed with these wintry temperatures. Hello, everyone. A bitterly cold start. Those minimums about 6 degrees below average in Tamworth. We woke to freezing. We even fell to -1 in Gunnedah this morning. That led to early patches of frost. But it's been a clear and settled day. Plenty of sunshine and blue skies. Temperatures that did reach the low 20s. And we can see on our satellite just how clear conditions were across the region. Blustery winds, though, about, and they certainly did make our temperatures feel a little bit cooler. No more than about the low teens throughout today. Tomorrow, we're expecting similar conditions. Another cool start. I'll have the forecast soon, Nick.
To keep the jumpers handy, Kirsty.
Yes, good advice.
Cool starts.
Yes.
Thank you. Up next in 7 News, Tamworth Stars Dance for Cancer smashes their fundraising goal. And teenagers offer support to a local animal shelter.
And a little later on this news hour, Donald Trump's suspected shooter named after a second assassination attempt, this time at his golf course. The glamorous world of bikies, the Comancheros slammed for releasing a Hollywood-style video, and Australian actress Elizabeth Debicki nabs her first ever Emmy.
An Armidale Animal Sanctuary continues to see record numbers of abandoned dogs. But now local teenagers are stepping in to help build shelters for those animals.
It's been described as a Maremma dilemma. The Kindly Animal Sanctuary in Armidale is overrun with Maremma dogs that have been abandoned or surrendered.
We're taking a lot of them. I think we've got 52 or 53 out there at the moment. So mostly Maremmas in each of the paddocks.
Pathfinders Australia has stepped up to help. Teenagers at Armidale's Tilbuster Station have worked tirelessly over the last 3 weeks to build temporary shelter for the dogs.
It's pretty exciting. Didn't think we would get it done so fast, and it looks good, and I'm pretty proud of my work, to be honest.
The project wouldn't have been possible without the support from Richardson's Home Timber and Hardware, who provided $5,000 worth of materials.
Well, these guys do a heap for the community. Like, they help all the young guys out. They work with a lot of locals, so we just wanted to do our part and try and do the same.
It also wouldn't have been possible without the guidance of mentors, who say it's been good to see the project take shape.
And seeing the progress they've done, it just feels good when you see the changes they've come up with and how they can make change in themselves as well.
Tony Simmons says he's looking forward to continuing the strong partnership between Pathfinders and the Kindly Animal Sanctuary.
We'd like to take this well into the future with other projects we can help out with. That'll be awesome.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Schools across New South Wales are pulling in teachers from other subjects to plug gaps in the classroom. The new data on out-of-field teaching, which was done by Sydney University, shows one of the main findings is PE teachers and science teachers stepping in to teach maths. Now, it comes as the New South Wales government axed a highly rated maths retraining program. The stars of Tamworth Dance for Cancer have smashed their fundraising record. Some of Tamworth's biggest names put on their dancing shoes for the 10th year and raised a staggering $220,000 for the Cancer Council. Wade O'Shea took out the honours for the largest fundraiser. Sarah Irwin and tradies support the ladies. Dance crew won the People's Choice vote, while the judges rewarded Fiona McKnight with the top prize.
They all dug so deep. The stars were so passionate, so driven, and they were really, really keen to make this the best yet.
All the funds raised will support cancer patients and go towards life-saving research and prevention programs. Up next in sport, Gunneda's Harry Wilson could lead the Wallabies again this weekend. And one unlikely team will host the Northern Inland Premier League Grand Final.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, dessert queen Tigger Mac is here with fun and easy cakes for the whole family.
Plus, be watching to win the ultimate fan experience with Katy Perry before she performs at the AFL Grand Final.
And we have 50 grand in prizes up for grabs. See you in the morning.
The Northern Inland Premier League Grand Final will head to parts unknown this year. One unlikely team have earned themselves hosting rights in a down-to-the-wire major semi-final.
Two heavyweights meet in the major semi, and Inverell weren't there to mess around. With one in the book, one was soon in the box. Inverell would get their chance. But somehow it stayed out. The first half ended scoreless. In the second, Inverell seemed intent on launching their attack quickly. Their box-to-box effort earned them a chance. But two clearances off the line kept more creak in the fight. But the Goats started to drop and Inverell sniffed a chance. Goalkeeper Dean Hoy would overcommit, leaving an open net for Inverell. Jubilation for Inverell, but commiseration for the Goats. The final score 1-0 to the visitors, with grand final hosting rights coming home with them.
It means a lot as a club as well because, you know, first time the Premier League grand final will be in Inverell, so it's a big occasion.
Max Gent, 7 News.
The Moore Creek Mountain Goats will get a second crack at a grand final appearance as they take on Armidale City Westside this weekend. Armidale making the trip down the hill to defeat Oxley Ballatunga FC in their own backyard, taking out a come-from-behind 1-2 win.
I thought our possession was really good. I thought we had control of the game. We weren't panicked at all. We know we've got goals in us. It was just about being patient and waiting and taking our chances when they came.
OVA's first grade season is now over, but they will still get their chance at some silverware in the reserve grade grand final. The ultimate showdown in rugby returns to our shores this weekend as the Wallabies prepare to take on their arch rivals, the All Blacks. Australia's captain could be Gunneda's Harry Wilson after he led the Wallabies in their 2-test tour of Argentina earlier this month. Coach Joe Schmidt is expected to announce his first 15 and captain on Thursday morning. Josh Hazelwood's second game back from injury has failed to get underway, with wet weather washing out the third and final men's T20 fixture against England in Manchester. The game was abandoned without a ball even being bowled, with the series settled as a draw. Both the teams will now shift their focus to the 5-match one-day international series, and that starts on Thursday. The Bendemeer Bullet is expected to play a majority of those games. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty's back and she has your week ahead in local weather.
Welcome back, everyone. A high-pressure system over New South Wales is bringing us bitterly cold mornings and chilly winds, but with mostly clear and settled skies. From around about Thursday, though, a number of troughs and strong winds will begin to push some showers through Victoria and into southern parts of New South Wales. But as we can see, most of that wet weather is quite isolated to the Victorian and New South Wales border, remaining dry and settled across the New England and northwest for most of this week. Around our region tomorrow, we are expecting expecting another cool morning with patches of frost around. Corindi waking to 1 degree. Gunnedah and Narrabri minimums of 2 overnight. A cool breeze blowing as well. Winds out of the west and the southwest up to 20 kilometres an hour. We can expect sunshine and blue skies during the day. Barely a cloudy sky in Glen Innes with a top of 17 degrees. Some patchy cloud on the way for Armidale and the Barrington tops. Similar conditions, clear and settled on Wednesday. Those overnight temperatures starting to warm up too, back to 4 degree minimums through Narrabri and for Weewar with a mild northwesterly wind blowing. Clear blue skies, a top of 20 on the way for Armidale, slightly above average. We're expecting 22 in Inverell and just nudging the mid-20s, I should say, through parts of the Upper Hunter. Heading into Thursday, temperatures will increase further, in fact, to the high 20s for some. Moree, 28 degrees. Walgett soaring to 29 and 25 in Tamworth. But at the same time as those maximums increase, so too do our wind speeds, west to northwesterlies, around 40 kilometres an hour with the chance of even stronger wind gusts. That means with that wind chill, it is likely to feel a little cooler. Looking ahead, cool mornings and clear skies on the horizon over the next week or so. Fairly settled conditions aside from some of that wind increasing.
Nice to see some settled conditions, Kirsty. Thank you. Before we go, let's take a quick look at fuel prices now around the region. In Tamworth, the best price for unleaded is $1.79 and the best price for diesel is $1.69 a litre. In Gunnedah, you can get unleaded petrol for $1.75 and in Moree, the best price for unleaded is $1.82 a litre and you can get diesel there for $1.84. And that is your local news for tonight. I'm Nick Hose. Thanks for watching. Now, in just a moment, Dan's got your latest national and international news. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Kirsty and I are back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for more news. We'll see you then.
Like to hunt things down, like defenseless young teapots. And when they're on the move, they pay 0 ING international transaction fees with one of these. It's here somewhere. There it is. The ING Orange Everyday Card. Travel and save, Jules. Be the lion.
This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, RFS expands their fleet of machinery just weeks out from the bushfire season. The state government throws a financial lifeline to music festivals.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, body cam released of the gunman taken down in a Donald Trump assassination plot. And a fire emergency. So what sparked this monster inferno?
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Tamworth Rural Fire Service crews are welcoming some new machinery to help their fight against bushfires. Just 2 weeks out from the official start to the season, it's a race against time to ensure they're fully equipped and ready for what will be a busy few months.
The bushfire season is just 2 weeks away, with warm conditions already causing fires to pop up across New South Wales and our own backyard. Tamworth's Rural Fire Service is expecting a busy few months. Anything that can help their fight against wild blazes is very much welcomed. $150,000, 360-degree cutting and controlled remotely, the Green Climber has joined their fleet of machinery.
It increases our capability levels to actually to do more area over a shorter period of time.
A console resembling a video game controller operated from at least 25 metres away, it's a new method of conducting hazard reductions. Not only more effective on the ground, but better on the body.
We've got to look after our people more and more, reduce the amount of chance of injury or stress
on the body.
It's one of just a handful in the state for the RFS and the only one in the northwest region, arriving 1 month ago alongside a new ride-on mower. Crews have struggled to conduct hazard reduction burns due to recent wet weather, but the Green Climber allows them to take advantage of short, dry periods.
Where they used to cut with brush cutters all day, set by hand, now they were actually using the machinery to do the same job.
District Coordinator Stephen Carstens says it's arrived at a good time.
If we can't burn, we can get in there, we can mechanically take out the areas, we can put fire breaks in, we can clean up around areas that normally would burn.
The RFS says the lack of hazard reduction burns is not something to be concerned about.
There's nothing outstanding at the moment or out of the ordinary that's going to happen, but again, all depends what the weather does.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Ticketless parking fines could soon be banned across New South Wales, including here in the New England. The state government says it will make the system fairer and more transparent. James Carter joins us now from Tamworth. And James, not all New South Wales councils actually use ticketless parking, do they?
That's right, Nick. Only Armidale in our region uses ticketless parking, while other councils leave on-the-spot notifications on vehicles. The state government says the former Liberal National government introduced the ticketless parking system with insufficient safeguards to protect drivers. New South Wales councils issued more than 800,000 ticketless fines in 2023 and 24, up 49% compared to the previous year. The government believes it's unfair to motorists who often don't learn of their fines weeks after they have been issued. If the bill is passed, all councils will be required to attach an on-the-spot notification to a vehicle while taking a photo of the offence. The legislation will be introduced into Parliament later this month.
Okay, James, thanks for the update. Music festivals have endured a pretty tough few years following the COVID pandemic, but now the New South Wales government will provide some much needed support, making sure they don't fall by the wayside.
It's been a tough few years for festival organisers who have dealt with rising costs and other challenges.
Where you need to bring in a lot of infrastructure, staging, toilet blocks, fencing. So those costs have really gone up for a lot of festivals organisers, but the income hasn't, so they've really felt the pinch.
Some of Australia's biggest festivals have fallen by the wayside, including Groove in the Moo and Spilt Milk, which is why the New South Wales government has announced regulatory changes and an emergency assistance fund of $3 million, which can be accessed for the next 2 years. Mr. Ross says this window of opportunity will help festivals and their organisers.
So that festival organisers don't become complacent that the hand is always going to be out or the funding is always going to be there to help underpin things.
Musicians have also welcomed the news.
It's amazing. It's imperative. You know, music's always there for people when they're down, when they're happy, and it's just wonderful that finally there's a little bit of support.
These steps from the state government are likely to reach further than just the festival industry.
Look, as we know, the Country Music Festival for Tamworth is one of the big economic injectors into our city. Businesses rely on that and it actually helps them get them right through the year.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
New figures reveal only a handful of people in the New England Northwest have been referred to a drug diversion program. Local police insist they are aware of the initiative, but say it's still in the early stages.
Touted as a major reform, but some areas haven't yet seen any success. The Minns government introduced the Early Drug Diversion Program in February to take pressure off the court system and direct people towards intervention. Instead of facing a criminal charge, police can give those with a low-level possession a fine, which can be waived after an intervention appointment.
It's certainly a great initiative that Oxley Police District encouraged.
However, only 4 people in the Oxley district were offered the program in its first 23 weeks, while nobody in the New England district had the option. Police say they are aware of the program, but it is in its early stages and cases need to meet strict criteria.
There are certain parameters in relation to this scheme where they cannot go into the scheme because of certain criminal antecedents.
Areas in Sydney recorded some of the highest rates of referral, while police in the Barrier PD in Broken Hill had the highest regional figures at 13%.
At this point, this data shows that police discretion really doesn't work.
Ms Fairman says restricting who can access the program based on eligibility criteria needs to be reviewed.
Surely people who have prior convictions just for personal use, they're the people that we want to divert into the health system, not the criminal system.
James Carter, 7 News.
Indigenous leaders are praising a new change to the New South Wales high school curriculum that focuses on colonisation from an Aboriginal perspective. The principal at Tamworth High School says the changes will expand on what they're already teaching.
From one generation to the next, New South Wales students will be taught Indigenous history in a new manner.
If students understand the past, they will have a much better understanding of the present.
From 2027, Year 7 and 8 students will learn Aboriginal perspectives and experiences of colonisation and conflicts, the Frontier Wars, Myall Creek Massacre, and the reasons for expansion over the Blue Mountains. Previously only covered in an optional depth study in Years 9 and 10.
It's not just about the colonisation of Australia. Colonisation was a major historical period.
At Tamworth High, Indigenous culture is already taught extensively, but Principal Paul Davis says this new syllabus will expand on what they're already doing.
Our history is everyone's history, so I think in terms of shying away from it, the new syllabus is much more prescriptive about what it does and how to look at it.
For Kamilaroi man Len Waters, this is a major step in closing the gap.
When we went through school, all we got was some other culture, looking at people sort of overseas and that sort of thing.
As calls grow louder for the Labor government to establish a truth-telling Makarrata Commission just less than a year since the failure of the Voice to Parliament referendum, Mr Waters says teaching the ugly parts of Australia's history is crucial to moving forward.
There are people out there still sort of ignorant to the fact, the impact that colonisation has had. No, that was a long time ago. But it might have been a long time ago, but we're still living with it today.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
More than 4,000 hectares of koala habitat on private land will be protected across parts of the New England. The new state government agreements will allow private landholders to actually receive payments to protect the endangered species.
Making their homes in the trees of the New England. Our koala population is continuing to shrink. Now it's hoped a new agreement with landholders will see dwindling habitats protected permanently.
The fact that there's a funding arrangement that comes in each year, so it means that we can control feral animals and feral plants and really manage the property.
Over 4,000 hectares of private land will be safeguarded, including 1,600 hectares of koala habitat across Armidale and Uralla. With over 70% of land across the state owned privately, the funding is an important step in protecting areas where koalas thrive.
From an agricultural point of view, we can't generate income from this land, so we're generating income through conservation. What better way is there to go?
However, there are concerns over this announcement. The Australian Koala Foundation wants to see more detail about the program.
I do sometimes worry that these decisions are made rather on, that landholder wants to do this rather than whether it's based on biodiversity mapping.
They want the New South Wales government to do more to see koalas removed from endangered status.
Australian koala is in terrible trouble and it is listed as endangered, and I've been in my job for 35 years and I haven't seen anything yet that works unless you just stop cutting the trees down.
James Carter, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty joins us now for a look at today's weather conditions. And Kirsty, quite a lovely day out there for our Tuesday.
Yes, plenty of blue skies for us, Nick. Hello to you and good evening, everyone. We did still wake to a little bit of early frost for some parts of the region this morning, but once again, we've had blue skies and clear conditions. Cool mornings, though. Our chilly temperatures, of course, driven by a high-pressure system, leading to those clear and calm conditions overnight. That high-pressure system has remained our main weather feature throughout today, 22 though. Mild temperatures in Narrabri, we reached 22 degrees today. Inverell, that top of 20, and a little further northeast in Tenterfield at 19 was our top, with light but fresh winds. Windy weather though, and fire dangers increasing later this week. I'll tell you when a little after sport, Nick.
That sounds good, Kirsty. We'll see you soon. Up next in 7 News, are recent tax cuts actually making any real difference to household budgets? And the region's median house prices now under the microscope.
A little later on this news hour, plumes of smoke sent into the air as fire rips through a home. A man in court as harrowing details behind the Trump assassination attempt are revealed. Andrew O'Keefe savaged by a magistrate after a run-in with a paparazzo, and billions of dollars at stake in a Murdoch feud.
Shaving down there? Make sure your shower scene doesn't turn into a horror movie. New Gillette Intimate's Control Grip handle helps prevent nicks and cuts. Gillette Intimate, when it really, really matters.
Vaping addiction can creep up on you. And before you know it, it can be hard to resist its pull. Vaping, are you really choosing anymore? Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
You've been through something. Can you tell me the last thing you remember?
They were looking for something. I died.
You're the first to journey all the way back. To get another chance.
He's back to stop his killer.
My son is in trouble. I was never there for him before. Maybe you dig this Cosmos Marvel stuff. There's a whole city of animals that we could do something about.
Wait. Second Chance. Stream now on 7+.
Ooh, someone's making a meal of it.
Reversing's tricky.
No worries. You're with Budget Direct.
Moneybags Insurer of the Year. 8 years in a row.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
Wait. What's that? Open the Google app, tap this, search with a screenshot. Ooh, obsessed. The perfect fit. More ways to search in the Google app.
The cost of living crisis continues. There is concern tonight that owning your own home is too far out of reach. But new data shows parts of the region is still affordable for some, but affordability remains low.
Home ownership is one of the biggest concerns for people who are yet to break into the market. But the Regional Australia Institute says in regional areas, that's less of a worry due to better housing affordability.
You can see that actually the median incomes are not that different to the median incomes in regional Australia.
New data and a new online tool is helping people figure out where they should buy, giving them a better understanding of what is and isn't out of reach.
What this tool then offers is a comparison, so a price, a median house price and income price ratio.
Armidale, Tamworth and Gunnedah all have a median house price of under $500,000 with a median income of under $65,000. In some areas in Sydney, the median house price can vary between just under $1 million to $3 million. Real estate agents say they're seeing more city dwellers buy in the bush.
I think definitely the tree change has slowed down a little bit, but what we're seeing really strongly at the moment is a lot of metropolitan and coastal buyers looking at investment properties in places like Tamworth.
Although this buying behaviour is putting a squeeze on residents already living in regional areas.
So it's got this knock-on effect of increasing the rental prices for people who are in our communities. So we need to really accelerate the construction of housing.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Well, it might look like welcome relief on the surface, but are tax cuts actually making any real difference to household budgets? Experts don't seem to think so, with many families still struggling just to make ends meet.
It's a crippling reality for so many, choosing whether to put food on the table or keep a roof over their heads. The cost of living crunch still hitting the hip pocket.
Our emergency relief, we saw over 1,000 people in a month. You know, coming in to get food supplies, that's really frightening.
I feel very, very sorry for people that aren't on a high wage because they're battling all the time.
Sweeping tax cuts by the federal government came into effect in July and promised relief, but there's been barely any change in spending since then, according to most major banks.
Yeah, well, I think the tax cuts need to be more substantial, to tell you the honest truth.
It's not enough. It's not enough for the people who are struggling.
Experts initially thought the tax cuts would send consumers on a spending spree, but tight purse strings have lingered.
Oh, if it was just one thing, people would be able to manage, but you've got food, you've got housing, then you've got medical and schooling. If you've got children, and then they've got excursions and uniforms.
Homeowners particularly feeling the pinch of high mortgage repayments.
We've got people coming in who they've had a fixed rate, may have been, 2.1%, now gone up to 6.9%. That's a huge factor for somebody who's got a mortgage.
I know some people with their mortgage, their payments have gone up incredibly to the point where something else has got to give.
Experts say relief for household budgets could still be months away, with predictions the Reserve Bank won't be looking at cutting interest rates until May next year.
It's a real problem and I don't think it's going to go away for a while.
It's difficult, it's just a constant thing of readjusting your finances to try and get by.
Clesianta, 7 News.
Well, up next in sport, Australia's best junior horse riders make their way to Tamworth, and school students face off in a bubble battle.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, the Instagram game changer, a major new announcement from the social media platform to support protecting your kids.
Plus, the fitness trend defying gravity, why more Aussies are taking up the viral workout.
See you in the morning.
Students at Tamworth Public School have been treated to a day of inflatable fun. It's all part of Wellness Week, showing kids that there's lots of different ways to get active.
It's not your usual Tuesday in the playground. Giant bubbles and a Zorb ball rolling into Tamworth Public School.
We got them to come to our school because not many kids at our school have had a chance to do bubble games.
It's all intended to provide a midterm boost for students and keep them engaged and excited about learning.
It really boosts your mood and when you can come out here and have fun.
The giant Zorb ball was the star attraction, with kids queuing up for a spin.
Probably running around in that big bubble over there.
Kicking a soccer ball into the net while in a giant bubble can be quite a challenge, but these kids made it look easy. It was then straight into a Nerf gun war with their classmates. But the activities don't stop there during Wellbeing Week.
The past 2 days we've had music and bubbles in the playground, and lots of people have joined in and had a lot of fun.
Nothing can deflate the enjoyment felt by the students today. It's giving them a chance to get active outside of the usual sports.
Running, jumping, catching, whatever it might be, there's sort of something here for everybody and all ability levels, and they can all get something out of it. Chance to get outside in the nice weather, and it's just a fun day.
James Carter, 7 News.
Hundreds of the best junior riders in the country are on their way to the ALEC for the Australian Interschool Championships. The event is the largest equestrian grassroots program in Australia, and it covers dressage, show jumping, eventing and show horse. The event kicks off tomorrow morning and it'll run until next Monday. One equestrian program is Shooting for the Stars in Tamworth. Star Club Equestrian is a not-for-profit giving people with a disability the opportunity to participate and thrive in a sport that they love. Now, they are looking for more riders to take part in their long list of programs, and you can sign up online or come in for a free trial at their Moonbi facility. The newest representative football team to form in our region is now on the lookout for new players as it builds squads across a number of junior age groups. The program, formerly run by the Northern Inland Academy of Sport, is now community run. It trades under the name Northern Inland Rangers. They will be a team for the entire Northwest, hosting tryouts in a number of different towns right across our region, and that is going to happen in October. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty is back and she has your Wednesday weather forecast. Everything you need to know. That's next.
Welcome.
Lions like to hunt things down, like defenseless young teapots. And when they're on the move, they pay 0 ING international transaction fees with one of these. It's here somewhere. There it is. The ING Orange Everyday Card. Travel and save, Jules. Be the lion. Shaving down there? Make sure your shower scene doesn't turn into a horror movie. New Gillette Intimate's Control Grip Handle helps prevent nicks and cuts. Gillette Intimate, when it really, really matters.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want when you need it. Delivered to you every minute of every day. And it's all for free, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.
Vaping addiction can creep up on you, and it can be hard to resist its pull. Vaping, are you really choosing anymore? Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Your humble hatchback, Pierre, had a horn with a pop-pop sound. Pierre looked like a roller skate, drove like a dream. When you farewelled your old life, Pierre was there. A car doesn't have to move fast to move you. If it's precious to you, protect it with us. GIO. Protect precious.
We all want a fairy tale ending. It's true. But saving for a deposit is like walking through glue. Great Southern Bank puts dreams into action with tools like the Vault and the Boost to get traction. You might be single or with a growing clan. Everyone's different. You just need a plan. The best dreams are filled with hope and with laughter. Great Southern Bank. Happily clever after.
Back, everyone. A high pressure system is sitting across our state, generating clear skies and cool mornings. On Thursday, though, a series of cold fronts and gusty westerly winds will cross parts of New South Wales, bringing a few scattered showers and even alpine snow to southeastern parts of the state, but in the north remaining fine and settled. And we can see where this more unsettled weather is forecast on our rainfall map too, towards this border region, whereas we're not expecting any more than a light drizzle or two across the northern inland for the rest of this week. With that high pressure system hovering across the region, it does mean we'll wake to another cold morning tomorrow with some frost around Corindai and Tamworth, minimums of just 1 degree, but sunny and clear during the day. Winds increasing though about the tablelands. We could see winds around 30 kilometres an hour out of the northwest. Temperatures 21 through Tenterfield, though that wind chill is likely to make it feel cooler, and 24 for Murrurundi. Settled and sunny heading into our Thursday too, though, in Tamworth, that top of 25 degrees, and soaring to 29 in Walgett as temperatures begin to heat up. The windy weather also increasing right across our region. 40 kilometre an hour winds are likely swinging west to northwesterly. Blue skies though, on a top of a 20 degrees in Armidale, but that combination of the increase in the winds and of course the hotter temperatures means we're expecting a higher fire danger rating. Into Friday, those winds starting to ease but also turning southwesterly, so we can expect quite a cold breeze. A settled day in Narrabri with a top of 24. The Barrington tops reaching 13 degrees following 4 overnight. So those overnight temperatures still leading to that frost risk, particularly where they're dropping below freezing. On to the next 7 days now, temperatures varying slightly over the coming week or so, remaining nice and settled once those winds ease from Friday. We are, of course, keeping our eye out on that elevated fire danger, though, into Thursday, Nick.
We certainly will be, Kirsty. Thank you very much. And that is your local news for tonight. I'm Nick Hose. Thanks for watching. In just a moment, Dan's got your latest national and international news. Enjoy the rest of your night. Kirsty and I are back tomorrow night. We'll see you at 6 o'clock. See you then.